Hi, I'm Chuck Gibson. This is Loveland Beacon Talks. Today we are joined by Robert Vanover, candidate for the Loveland School Board, the third of our special series, Getting to Know Your Loveland School Board Candidates. Now it's my pleasure to welcome our guest candidate, Robert Vanover. So welcome, Robert Vanover. Thank you so much for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks for this special series, Getting to Know Your Loveland School Board Candidate. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Trust me, it's my pleasure. It's been, we've been talking a little bit before we went on air, so it's been fun for me to even get a chance to know a little bit about you. But, that's what we're going to start with. An opportunity for you to tell the people who you haven't already met, going out there and meeting the people. So, who is Robert Vanover?
All right. So, a little about me. So, yes, my name is Robert Vanover. I've lived in Loveland for a total of about 19 years. I've been married for 20 years. I have a daughter that's 8 years old. She attends the middle school. And our family love this community. We have no intentions on ever leaving. And because of that, I feel that it's my responsibility that if I can help the community and the school to be successful, it's an obligation that I have. So,
well, that lends us really to the next question. But I don't want to cut you off if there's some more you want to just kind of say about yourself real quick.
Well, I was going to go a little bit into my background, but I can
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well,
that's all right.
The reason, what I think I'll be successful here is I've had 25 years of leadership experience that I'll be pulling from, which has given me experience in conflict resolution, critical thinking, problem solving. I've owned a construction company for at least 7 years. And so commercial buildings, facility maintenance, and I've had the honor to actually teach in higher education for 3 years. So curriculum development and learning techniques and failing in front of a class. So I got to experience it all.
I just get to fail in front of the whole world as a journalist.
I know, but being in front of it,
up close and personal in a classroom is a whole different animal.
It felt a little different, so yeah.
Maybe on a school board it'll feel different still.
But maybe so.
Which you know what, given that your background, and obviously you're not retired, you're still working,
yes.
You're out there in industry, I'm going to say for you, got a good job, got a good family, life's pretty good. So why seek election to the Loveland Board of Education?
I'm going to say that was a question my wife was asking me, my boss was asking me, several people was asking me. And as a matter of fact, I didn't make the decision until I went out gathering signatures to get on the ballot. I was still debating. I wanted to sense how the community was. All right. Back in 2019, when some things happened, it made a rift. And I was really hoping that rift would heal. And after I spoke to 280 individuals, I found that rift was still there and it was very strong. And so my sole purpose in doing this is to help the community come back together, to let us focus on important items. That's really my drive, and that's why I'm going to do this. Yes, it's going to be a tax on my personal time, my family time, but I think it's well worth it. And it does mean a lot to me. I want my daughter to be able to enjoy the community. I've loved this community. And I want to help it heal, and I want to help it be successful long term.
Those sound like good reasons to run. As you've gotten into it, you're learning what that campaigning is
yes.
all about. But so the next question for you, really, and it's kind of threefold, because I'm going to say to you, Robert, what are the three things that you feel like qualify you, or the three things that you bring to the school board, that make you uniquely qualified to be a part of the Board of Education?
Well, I touched on it for a second, but I've been a leader for 25 years. I've worked longer than that, but I've been a leader at Fortune 500 companies for 25 years. And you don't do that for 25 years if you're not a leader. You get moved outside very quickly. So I've developed the skills that help businesses grow, from the critical thinking to the problem solving. And for the last 10 years, I've been focused in governance. So it's setting business direction through visions, policies, procedures, goals, keeping the business moving in the right direction. I touched on it. I own a construction company. I know we have older buildings and they need maintenance schedules to be implemented. I've got experience in that. I think that I could lend, some good advice. And I got a lot of family members that are in construction. So if I don't know something, they're still in it and still actively participating.
I was going to say that's almost a dangerous. I have family in it. Well, we're not going to see collusion and corruption.
No. Not yet. Not yet.
The family isn't going to get the contract.
No. They don't. They wouldn't do that.
I didn't want to put you on the spot like
no,
that. I did it anyway.
I like it. I like it.
So,
but that actually is an interesting.
The idea is
point.
the resource.
I'm not the smartest man in the world. I would never even believe that. I have people a lot smarter than me that work for me. And that's how I'm strong, is I pick strengths out of people and I amplify it for them. I expose them to the opportunities. That's a leader's job. There is one other thing that I can say that makes me a little bit, I would say qualifies me for this. Everything that I've done, my signs, my flyers, my personal time, I've paid for it. Nobody, no special interest groups have funded me to do this. I'm not obligated. I've not been provided anything other than my own will to do this. And I think my intentions should stand on their own. So I have no conflicts of interest.
Well, so just to kind of recap, so leadership.
Yep.
And then obviously the setting policy and setting goals has been a big part of your background. And then at the end of the day, it's personal for you. It's out of your pocket.
Yes.
It's your intention. There's no special interest group driving you that you have to answer to once you're on the board. So those are probably three things.
I think those are the important things.
And then we're going to go three again.
I like threes.
And if it's two, it's okay. If it's four, that's okay as well. I'm not going to. I want you to share, Robert Vanover, not just Chuck's questions, but. I would ask it like this. What are the top three priorities that you see for the Loveland City School District to continue improving? Let's say that they're pretty good now, but obviously they want to improve. What would you cite as the top three priorities to keep moving forward?
I would have people look at my website because I have my platform and goals. So I've got them laid out on what I think is important. And
that real quick then, look at your website, which is, go ahead and say it.
Well, there's going to be a QR code because I created the web. I learned how to program in HTML.
I see.
I created a server at my house, and then the easiest way to do it, because the URL code is like blue snowflake, and I am not a blue snowflake. Don't even know what that is, but somehow that's the name that it assigned it when I created the website. But I'll provide a QR code and my phone number. All of my information is on there. Okay. You can reach out and call me. Right. I'm always going to be open for comments from the community.
All right. But, I sidetracked you, but so getting back to those three priorities.
I would say when I spoke to the people, and I like to listen to people talk. It tells me so much about them. I found that there were certain things that were important. The people with larger families, they really focused on high school busing. And I believe with some fiscally responsible spending, pursuing some alternative non-tax revenue streams like facility renting, both for our community and outside of our community, I think we could actually re-implement or redeploy high school busing. And that would take a huge load off of especially single parents. I mean, I can only imagine. I've got the luxury of having, my wife at home when I go to work and we switch off. So I got to get home to pick her up and my wife. So, but if you only had that one, that would, I don't even know how to balance that equation. I'm sure you can if you're not given opportunity, the choice. But that has been important. Another thing is at the end of that 5 year, I want to see just people making fiscally responsible decisions to ensure the longevity of our school. We can't live paycheck to paycheck. That doesn't work. It always fails. Eventually you miss it and you stumble, and then you've got what's the most important thing to our school is the teachers and the students. Without either one of those, you don't have a school. So we need to learn how to manage our money to support what's important in our school. So that is another area where I would say we need to understand the money coming in and detail where the money is going to best utilize those resources, focus them where they need to be. And we don't need to go look for levies if we're utilizing what we've got. The school brings in a lot of money. Now, there's going to always be a need for something, outside of that normal. There will be. And we'll take those discussions when those times come. But what I would say is we need to engage the entire community. We need to make sure that they are engaged in the success of the school. That way you've got buy-in. So even if I don't get this role as a candidate, which I hope I do, right, the other board members should pick that up and just go out and talk to people. Listen to them. Don't listen to make a response, because you'll miss the opportunity to really learn about people. So that's kind of, I'll stop talking now.
Well, and I've kind of got you right now with, fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
Is a key thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, trying to return high school busing.
Yes.
And then engaging the community.
Yeah, well, in the base, the core, like breathing in and out, you want to be alive, you breathe in and out, is ensuring that you've created the best educational environment possible for the kids. That's at the core. That's the heartbeat of it, all right? And how do you do that? Well, you make sure that you implement the vision, the policies, the procedures, the goals, all focused on student learning. And another critical thing that I found in companies that I've worked for, that we've done cultural shifts, is you create a safe feedback unit, so where people can submit ideas and concerns. So within the school, and this is, I'm saying I would do this on both sides, but for the school specifically, measuring the morale in the school. How are the students feeling? How are the teachers feeling? How are the admins feeling? How can we make it better? How can we give the teachers the tools? How can we best communicate the wisdom to knowledge transfer from teachers to students? Right. And how to make that school, the day-to-day activities that usually go unnoticed, but people are always crazy, doing all kinds of things, front desk, cafeteria people. I was in school. I was a handful. I know that. But how do we make their lives simpler and make it enjoyable to where when they're in their 50s, they're talking about, do you remember when we did this, this, and this? Because I still do that.
Right. Right.
So I'll end my three things there.
Well, I'd throw this in, you're younger than me, but
only a couple days.
Whatever. We won't do the math, and that's okay. If you've got an 8-year-old daughter, my daughter's got a, anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there seems to be a focus, and I hear you, and that's fine as part of the goals and objectives, and it is important to have good morale. But one of the things kind of gets under my skin, having been a student and growing up in the age and the era that I did. It's like, are we making sure that the kids are having too much fun versus? But you touched on it. You said, the learning and the education. So right. It's there, but it's like, make it a good experience. Make it a good learning experience. Maybe is a better way to say that.
That's exactly it.
With you.
Because that's what I learned when I was teaching teenagers, the older teenagers.
Yeah, like the 19, 18.
19 and some years there. If you changed because the first day I went in, I taught straight from the book. I was almost like Siri, do. And man, they tore me up. It was a paradigm shift. I questioned my life at that point. I'm like, wow, man, what did I just do? So the next day I thought about it. Let's do this different. Got up. Let's work problems. Let's just think about application and let's work from A to B. And got the whole class involved. It was a paradigm shift. It became, and it's actually how I manage today. Everybody was involved. So now, and this is an example of that, when I'm a leader from my last job, the introduction was, when bad things happen, I'll take up this. It'll be my responsibility. When not, I'm one of the team. I'll teach you, you teach me, and we work as a unit. I taught like that. It was awesome. I lead like that. It's highly effective. I don't know if it's magic. Maybe it is, but it works for me.
Well, the next question is going to be part of the telltale whether we're going to get to find out or not, because the next question for you is a real simple one as we get ready to wrap this up, Robert. So if I am a Loveland City School District voter, and the Loveland Schools voters that are listening to this right now, the question is, why should I vote for Robert Vanover?
Let's see. I think it would come down on what is my intent. Why do I want to do this? And as I stated before, the sole reason I'm doing this is to help bring the community back together so we can focus on important topics like fiscal responsibility and accountability. Let's make sure that our school is here for our kids' kids. That's critical. And then it's that knowledge transfer. It's creating that environment of learning, because the kids, as they progress to the next grade, to graduation, to work, to entering society, that's our job. That's the school's job, is to prepare them for that transition. There's others, there's a lot more to it, but that's just a high level. That's what we're providing those kids. So let's take from that community education. Those are two items. I already said that I have no conflicts of interest. I'm doing this because I want to do it. Whatever you get paid to go to a meeting, trust me, it's insignificant. It's not the prep for the meeting and all that kind of stuff. It'll wash that away. I'm doing this because I want to help. That's it. And if people want the help, if they don't want the help, I'm going to be there. Fiscal responsibility, learning, community. If you want a candidate that is loyal to the community, that truly cares, that will do whatever it takes to give you my shirt off my back. Maybe not this one, but the one under it I would. Then I would hope you would consider me as your candidate. If I'm given that opportunity, I promise to not disappoint.
Excellent. Robert, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to share Robert Vanover with our listeners here on Loveland Beacon Talks and helping us to get to know our Loveland School Board candidate. So, folks, that was Robert Vanover, and again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was enjoyable, and we should do it again.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right.
That was Robert Vanover, one of 4 candidates for the 2 open seats on Loveland School Board. You can learn more about his campaign online by scanning his QR code in this story. This has been a Loveland Beacon Talks special edition, Getting to Know Your Loveland School Board Candidates. I'm Chuck Gibson saying thanks for listening here on Loveland Beacon. Loveland Beacon Talks is a presentation of Loveland Beacon Digital Media and Gibson Communications, LLC.